If you're looking for a very high quality system with a good amount of volume to back it all up for that 2015 and newer non-active EcoBoost at home, well then you have to check out the Ford Performance Sport Catback that we have on the table today. Now this system is going to combine that premium 304 grade stainless steel throughout, along with an aggressive tone and attractive black chrome tips, all for right around that $1,600 to $1,700 price point. All right, let's talk sound here before we go any further with this video, guys, and talk about what you can expect with the sport system bolted up. And you heard our sound clips at the top of the video. You know that the Ford Performance Sport system is going to deliver a very aggressive sound that almost, I would say, overshoots that sport name. Now, what I mean by that is the jump from the Ford Performance Touring, which is kind of the milder of the three systems, to this system, the Sport, is really gonna be pretty big. So much so that going to my kind of highly scientific Wake the Neighbor scale, I'm gonna go solid 4 out of 5 here, again, on that 1 to 5 or 1 to Wake the Neighbor scale. Now, not only are you getting a healthy dose of volume, but you're also getting kind of those telltale cracks and pops coming down off the revs with the EcoBoost. It's certainly not over the top. It's not like a crackle tune or anything like that, but I think it adds to the sport system and just gives the EcoBoost sound a little bit more character. Now, if you wanted to go even louder than this thing, well, Ford Performance does also offer their Extreme system, and that's gonna be a 5 out of 5 all day long. But this system, again, certainly delivers more volume, but at the same time, it's not gonna be crazy loud or over the top. But let's shift gears and talk a little bit more about materials and construction. And as I pointed out at the very, very top of this video, guys, you can always look forward to a premium build when we're talking Ford Performance and Borla, the combination here responsible for the sport system today. Now, what are we talking about when we say premium materials, premium build? Well, in this case, T304 grade stainless steel. Yes, that's going to command top dollar, but at the same time, the trade-off will be its excellent corrosion resistance, along with the corresponding million-mile warranty, which is essentially a lifetime warranty, right? And that's going to apply to the Ford Performance by Borla system that we have here today. Now, aside from that 304 grade stainless here, you're also looking at the included Y pipe, of course. That's gonna come down nearest the downpipe connection. 2 1/4 inch mandrel bent tubing throughout here, leading into the Sport Series mufflers before everything exits out of the rather sharp black chrome tips here, 4 inches in diameter slash cut, of course. They look very appealing in person. I really, really dig them. Finally, guys, kit does include everything needed for the install, and that means your factory style hangers all in the factory location, in addition to all of the clamps needed to get the system together. Price point for the Ford Performance Sport system, guys, is going to land you right in that $1,600 to $1,700 ballpark, which is going to cement this firmly into what I call the premium category. And that's going to put this against other systems, other quality systems that use that 304 grade stainless, such as the MBRP Armor Pro, in addition to other Borla offerings here on the site. But again, knowing the quality of the systems here itself, this is kind of one of those old time sayings where you get what you pay for, and that's always been my experience when we're talking Ford Performance and or Borla. All right, so we've talked about sound, we've talked about materials. Now let's talk about getting this on your ride at home. This is gonna be a 100% bolt-on job, guys. That is one of the nice things about going with a catback for your S550, as opposed to an axle back, which always requires cutting. Not the case here. So again, bolt-on job, middle of the road, 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, taking you a couple of hours or so to complete from start to finish. But to give you a better idea of just how this one will go down at home, check out our detailed walkthrough and tool breakdown.
The tools you'll need for this project are an impact gun or ratchet, an extension, a 13mm, and a 15mm socket. Hi everyone, today we're installing an exhaust on our EcoBoost Mustang, but first, let's watch a short video on how to uninstall the stock exhaust.
Now, your obvious first step here, guys, is to lift and support your car, whether it be on jack and jack stands, or in this case, a lift. Now, with the car up in the air, we're gonna start by removing the 2 13mm bolts, securing these brackets back here towards the rear of the car. Now we can move up to our clamp here that secures our factory catback to our downpipe. and loosen these two 15mm nuts here. We don't have to remove them all the way. We just want to make sure we can loosen those enough to loosen this clamp up. So now with our forwardmost clamp loosened up, we're going to grab a buddy here, and what we're gonna do is get the exhaust off of the brackets here that secure it to the rear subframe, drop the front of the catback itself, and then at that point we can slide the rear of the factory catback out of these hangers.
First thing we're going to do on our install is install this Y-pipe onto the existing stock pipes. Now you want to make sure that this angle comes over towards the passenger side so that it sits right underneath the drive shaft here. So we'll just slip this into the OEM clamp that's on there. And then we'll use our 15mm socket to snug it up, not completely tighten, but just snug it up enough to hold it in place. Now we will be reusing the two hangers that go right behind the differential here and connect to the subframe, so you'll need to transfer these over from the stock exhaust. So we'll just grab that, slide it over onto the hanger on the new pipe, making sure of course that this hook at the top of the hanger is facing towards the front of the vehicle. Once you've got that done, we can go ahead and install the clamp on the front of the pipe. And then we'll insert the front of the pipe onto the Y pipe and then connect our hanger in the back. Now we'll hook our hanger onto the cross member here and loosely install the bolt to hold it in place. Now we can go ahead and snug up this front clamp here just to make sure that it stays on the Y pipe. Now there is a small notch on the front of this new exhaust pipe here that's about 1/4 of an inch long, and you want to place this clamp right on the edge of that notch, and then we'll go ahead and snug it up with our 15mm socket. And now we'll repeat the same process for the passenger side. Now we'll go ahead and install the clamp on our muffler, and then we'll install the hanger on the muffler into the isolator that's still on the vehicle, and then connect our two pipes. Now, once you've got it in place, we'll go ahead and roughly line it up. And now we'll snug up our clamp with our 15mm socket. And now you can repeat that process for the other side. Now that you've got everything installed, go ahead and double check your clearances, make sure that there's no interference with any of the suspension or body panels or any hoses or wires. Once you've got that done and you're happy with it, then go ahead and start tightening everything down for good, starting at the front of the vehicle. Once you've got all your clamps tightened up, then we can go ahead and tighten up the bolts on our two hangers here, right behind the differential. And we'll do that using our 13mm socket. Now the manufacturer also recommends tightening down all of the clamps to 35 foot-pounds of torque. And that wraps up our review and install of the Ford Performance Sport Catback exhaust with black chrome tips for your 15 and newer Mustang EcoBoost without active exhaust. Thanks for watching, and remember, for all things Mustang, keep it right here at AmericanMuscle.com.